What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we highlight movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, people of color who made it to the other side of that proverbial firewall to do great things in cybersecurity and IT. As always, I'm joined today by Shannon Tynes
What's up? What's up?
and Levon Maynard.
Yes, sir. How's everybody doing out there?
Doing pretty good. I was going to throw in Iron Mike Tyson and Michael J. White because they're about to fight, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that today. It's about unity.
I didn't really do that. I saw that. I saw something about that a couple weeks ago.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, they're going to fight for charity. Yep. So it's a free fight. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that Tyson and Tyson? Because he played Tyson in the HBO movie, right? I remember watching.
That's right. I remember that.
I don't think anybody's Tyson. He's gonna be hurt. R.I.P. to Michael J. White.
Right.
Oh no, he seemed to hold his own. We'll see.
Yeah, they allow kicks. I mean, if they got kicks in there and stuff,
no, just all punching. I think if he was unrestricted, but I mean, Mike, like you see Roy Jones after the charity fight.
I didn't watch it.
Ooh, I watched it. Like he was standing up with adrenaline alone. He's still Mike Tyson. I don't care how old he is.
That's the truth.
But okay, yeah, he is a beast. But this week is an action-packed show. At the top of the show, we'll discuss T-Mobile's latest data breach, Google hijinks, and the new reports of Amazon's treatment of some of its former Black employees. In topic one, Levon will educate us on Bombardiers. I think I said it right. Data leak. So they're an airplane manufacturer, but please correct me on how to say the name. I tried to run through. Yeah, I tried to run it through Google, and the robot voice didn't help me. And then in the second topic, I'll discuss Clubhouse and how their first breach that we know of, and its ramifications to our privacy. But before we talk about all that, how's everybody's week?
I can't complain. Just another day in paradise. Get the play some video games, watch some shows, living a COVID lifestyle. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like anything cool. I'm just like I'm bored right now. Like ain't nothing cool, exciting to talk about from my perspective. But yeah, I've just been chilling out, enjoying some of this beach life. Actually, haven't gone to the beach in last month or so, but you know, that's how I live my life every day at the beach. But
are they open?
Yeah, they're open. They're just like there were certain beaches at one point that were closed off to the public.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because people like gathering, but there's like I don't know if it's like certain parts, certain beaches. They allow people like they hang out and do whatever, but not like I assume that if it got to an extent where people are like jam packed and laying on it, you know, because I go to a beach where it's kind of like not a lot of people hang out, people just kind of walking around just to get a little scenic view, and then you know, just go home. They don't like jump in the water and play. You don't see like a bunch of kids like splashing in the water and like with the pails and buckets and like trying to like scoop sand and all this kind of stuff. But
so a nude
just
beach.
Like
yeah,
just a nude beach. Yeah, it's adults only. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. How about you, okay. How about you guys?
Man, nothing much my way. It's Groundhog Day, man. Like, again, stay in the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Play with the children. You know what I mean? It's. I mean, we got some snow Thursday here, so 2 days ago. That was like 5 inches worth. I'm watching it melt all over the place now, right? Like it don't stay long here in Colorado, man. But
yeah,
nothing much other than that, though. No, I didn't study this week. I know I studied last week, and then this week I'm not on it. Like I need to get back on it.
That's right.
I know.
That's all I got to say about that.
The head shaker right there.
I'll take that shame.
So here's a question. Like, I don't know how factual this is, but I see a lot of people are posting that they've passed, right? They're like, hey, I passed the CISP, but they're saying 6 hours, 250 questions. So if you take it online, is it the linear only option? You can only do the CAT if you go in person? I can't find anybody to fact check this.
I'm not sure on that. My test is until April, so I was outside of that February window when they were doing the testing, which like the last day is like today, right? Or
Yeah.
tomorrow maybe. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was outside that window, so I never even looked into it to see what they were doing. But yeah, I think that might just be the online portion of it though, because I haven't seen anything saying it's changed.
Yeah, because if it's 256 hours, like all my concerns are out the window. Because I got a new level of respect for you if you take that test. Like I'm not down for that.
Yeah.
So man, I was living the life this week. I'm lying. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I just worked on content for the podcast, and I watched Amendment, I think it's called, or Amend, the Netflix Will Smith
Yeah.
show about the 14th Amendment.
Yeah. How was it?
I watched 3 episodes. It's really good. Like they got me on the first one, and then you're like excited, and then you're like sad, and then you're mad, and then you're excited. It's a roller coaster, and like, but I know the history, so that means it's good. They did a good job.
Dang.
That's good.
But,
Sounds good. I've been wanting to check out the I forgot what it's called, like Judas and the Messiah, something like that. The Black Messiah.
Oh yeah.
I think it's on HBO Max. I have that in my queue. I want to check that one out too. But yeah, I know we're gonna get to probably later in the show, but I haven't been watching a whole bunch anything new lately. But
Gotcha.
Got some things in the queue lined up that I want to check out for sure.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. With that being said, there's no good segue, so we just we'll jump right to the.
Speaking of the
I tried.
Messiah.
I dug deep, couldn't find it. But there's just a few topics that we want to hit up front, just things that popped off. They caught our eye. So, and the first one, it's T-Mobile. So we've talked about it in the past. It's a good follow-up to previous conversations, but they've suffered another data breach. This time in the way of SIM swapping, hijacking type attack. So what is that? So SIM swap fraud or SIM hijacking allows scammers to take control of targets' phone numbers after porting them using social engineering or after bribing mobile operator employees to a SIM controlled by a fraudster. So that's the first time I ever used the word fraudster out of all them words.
That's right.
But so basically they don't know exactly how the breach took place just yet anyway. Like that may come out soon, but they said they were able to stop it. But what was happening was they were porting people's numbers, and then they were using those numbers to get into other accounts such as banks. So such as banking accounts, because a lot of people's phone numbers are tied to their bank account. And they're able to use it to access that data. It says the attackers were able to port numbers. It is unclear if they gained access to employee accounts or did it through the compromised user accounts. So again, this is the 5th breach in 4 years, as cited by bleepingcomputer.com. So what are you guys' thoughts?
I just say, it's a yeah, I guess it's this kind of thing has been, I think it's been a thing for a little bit. People trying to attack or get access to SIM cards, and if they can do like some social engineering and get people to like activate a new device on somebody's account or something like that. But it's I don't know. I don't know if I have like a big a detailed thought on this. I mean, it's like it's kind of like something that I'm aware of. I know these things exist. I know it's a problem. Obviously, people got to be careful with their devices. I'm not sure if there's ways to like actually identify if you've been like a victim of SIM swapping. Besides, like maybe your phone stops working, or if you're like I don't know, all of a sudden you get some random text message saying, "Hey, please activate your new device" or something. But it's an interesting story. It's I'm glad that they're disclosing. T-Mobile's being honest with the company, with their customers, to make sure that people are aware that there's some attacks and there's some breaches that they've identified, so that people will be aware and be smart about protecting their devices and monitoring, make sure that their account stays safe. I think a lot of people are probably just like, pay the bill monthly. You don't even think about anything, anything going on with the service, or somebody could be compromising the device, especially with, like you mentioned, the device is tied to a lot of sensitive systems. And you've got the two-factor authentication that we talked about before, that a lot of people use SMS based, which they say is less secure than using like an application or authenticator, something like that. But
Right.
for for these reasons alone, somebody can get maybe potentially like hack your device, or get access to your SIM and to your data, be able to monitor your I guess SMS messages, and then again, I always mentioned it before, but it's better than nothing. I think it's better than just having a single factor authentication. But yeah, I think that's my thoughts on this. Do you have much thoughts on this as well, Shannon?
So here's what I'll say. They had a last minute addition to this story, right? So they got an update that came out today, a few hours ago, actually.
Okay.
And they say that the attackers used an internal T-Mobile application target to target up to 400 customers in SIM swap attack attempts. So at first, when I read this story, I was like, okay, they paid somebody off. I was sure somebody got paid. Insider threat. We know
insider threat.
That's where the danger is, right? But then I read that and I was like, okay, T-Mobile. Now I'm like, okay, am I going to switch to Verizon or something now at this point, right? Like this is like 5 and 4 years or something like that. We just talked about this in December, right?
We did.
The last one that they did, and I'm like, come on, man, is my information safe? Like I got socials up there in your databases, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
When is it going to be too much? You know what I mean? So it's already one of those things where, okay, you provide a decent enough service, right? But if I got to worry every year, sometimes twice a year, within a 365-day time frame, whether or not my information is safe, the juice may not be worth the squeeze. I may have to move on, maybe pay a little bit more for that security. But yeah, this is one of those things where, I mean, seeing it was an internal application that they had that got hacked, it's kind of like, all right, protect your house, right? That's what you need to do. Like, you need to be like Under Armour, right? We must protect this house. But I don't know. I'm just it's something that really gives me pause now, because like I said, I've said it in the past too, right? Like I was a military member, so I know my information has been
everywhere
before, right? And it's exactly it is everywhere, right? But it's like it could be one of those things where it's just in my head now. And maybe because we do this every week, right? We're talking about all the stuff that's going on. And I realize there's risks with doing certain things. If I'm going to have a phone, if I'm going to have a credit card, if I'm going to have my information in all these different places, the risk is always there. But I need them to do better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm one of your customers and I need you to do better. I don't need you adding on to the information that's already out there or refreshing someone's memory that the information could be out there from a previous exposure, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I need them to do better. That's my thought.
Yeah, that's a good.
Do better. Speaking of doing better, that's a good segue. I'll let you take it over with Google.
All right. So Google, I just want to put this. I'm going to preface before I go into this with this, right? Like we are not jumping on Google by any means, right? I know it seems like that by the last few weeks that we've had where we've been talking about Google and how they've been messing up, but
every week
it appears Google is messing up, right? So this story is actually from CNBC, right? And it's Google's program for Black college students suffered disorganization and culture clashes, former participants say, right? So this was a program that Google had that was called Howard West. It was a Howard West program, right? So what it was students from Howard University, they would go out west to Google's campus, hence the name Howard West. And they started this back in 2017, right? So at first glance at this, you're like, okay, this is good. This is kind of the stuff that we've been getting on Google for, right? Like not doing some of the things when it comes to minorities and people of color. But where they fail here, though, is it seems like they weren't giving enough attention to the program to where it was beneficial to the people that were being enrolled in this, right? So pretty much what it was is they would take students from Howard, put them out west to the Google campus, and they would teach them, like, hey, this is how we do things at Google. You'll work different things. It was different machine things, programming, different things that make you marketable, in the IT sphere out in the world. But some of the things they were coming across and some of the things that are mentioned in the story were kind of alarming. And again, they started this back in 2017, but the students mentioned disorganization and like there were apps that they would have to log into to see to like know their way around the campus that they couldn't get access to, right? Because they weren't full-time employees of Google. You know what I mean? So they couldn't get access to different maps and things that were on the campus, different things that were needed for the classes they were taking, because there were some Howard University professors that were teaching them as well, to where even the Howard professors and the Google software developers would have some clashes kind of in front of students, which is not what you want, right? Like you kind of want to present a united front when you're doing these things. But they've talked about how they would have clashes there. Some of the culture things they would run into is they would get carded more often than anybody else. They had an instance in the story where some students in the first class, actually back in 2017, they had gotten introduced by the CEO like a few days before, and Google has like these bikes you can ride on campus or whatever, and security people were calling in security saying they were being stolen. You know what I mean? So security was stopping these new students, right? This is a bad first impression a couple of days in. They were stopping these new students, you know, and then people would have to be like, no, these are, you know, they're part of Google right here. They're here to learn. Just different stuff like that, different microaggressions that were going on. There was another instance where one of the students there was told he couldn't eat at a food truck that was on the campus. Like the lady turned to him in his face and said, "This is for Google employees only." So he had to hold his card up to his face. That was a Google, you know, ID card to say, "Hey, since you're not looking for my card for everybody else, I want you to know that I am allowed to eat here." You know, so the stuff we've been talking about with Google, and again, I don't want to make it seem like we're just going after Google on this, because I'm not, right? But it seems like this is something that's been going on since 2017. This organization, culture clashes, the stuff, they got to get better. We say this every week, and I know I sound like a broken record, but we got to do better at this stuff, right? Like, it just seems like the intention of the program was not with the way that they were actually leading it, or the way they were managing it. You know what I mean? It seemed like it was more for the PR side of it, to say, hey, we have a program where we're helping Black college students, than actually helping the Black college students. You know what I'm saying? So, but what's your thoughts on that, LeVon?
Yeah, so I think it's it's obviously a concerning topic. You know, one of the big tech players in the game right now, it seems like they're having some issues with, you know, it sounds like they have some issues with these programs that they're using to, you know, support these Black college students. And I think I remember reading in an article that one of the students, I think one of the people, the person that this story is kind of based off of too, that I think gave a lot of the information as well, was mentioning that I think when they got into the program, and somewhere during the program, they were offered some sort of like scholarship or something like that after they finished the program, or like they were going to give them some cover some cost or something to that effect for their education. And I think they ended up not following through with that, because they decided that person didn't meet certain criteria or something like that, even though that they were praised during their participation in the program. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well. But it's you know, it's obviously it's a concern. I mean, like you mentioned, Shannon, it's you know, hopefully the company's not just doing it as a PR stunt. They actually have like a passion about trying to help, you know, disadvantaged youth and or, you know, just Black college students in general. Because I think from the statistics, I can't remember exactly what they were, but they you know, they obviously hire disproportionately you know, non-Black individuals. I think they've gone up slightly over the years from 2014 to 2020. They have like a 4% Black employee population there. So
3.7, yeah, almost.
Yeah, 3.7. Yeah. So it's good that there's programs like this in place, but they do have to like put forth effort to make sure that these things are kind of addressed, and make sure that people feel welcomed into the program. People aren't going to be, you know, wanting to participate if they feel like, oh, I'm going to join the program, and they're just going to like go through some motions, like here's some books to study, here's like somebody that's going to teach you some things, and then like kick you out, you know, on the curb. And I think there was something in here about the expectations for like internship, and I think a lot of people had like great jobs, a great like performance during the program, and they kind of expected maybe there'd be like an internship opportunity, but they weren't offered one. So it's kind of concerning. I mean, I understand that there's definitely different levels as far as like expectations. Somebody has to have a certain skill set to be employed at Google. But at the same time, I think there's a thing called like a growth mindset where people can learn and develop even better skills while they're learning the job. Sometimes you got to give people a little opportunity if you feel like they're not 100% like ready to go, like guns blazing, like the first day of the job, just to be like firing off code and just like developing all these websites instantly. Sometimes you need to give people a chance, that you see something else in them. You see that they have a attitude, that they're willing to learn, they're willing to educate themselves, they're willing to work hard. They're not just like going to rest on their laurels and just, ride the paycheck and just sit around and do nothing. So sometimes you got to give those people opportunity. And I think that's, something that maybe this team has to consider as well when they're deciding who to like bring in with these internships and things like that. But I think that's my initial thoughts on this. You have some additional thoughts as well, Ryan?
Oh, I do. I have a lot, but
yeah,
I'm gonna because it ties very well into a similar instance, Amazon.
Mm.
So I can sum it all up with two articles, right? So in this article by Recode, by Vox, in the Recode section, bias, disrespect, and demotions, Black employees say Amazon has a race problem. So it just goes hand in hand. So in this article, they talked to a Shannon Kelly Ray, who started working at Amazon in 2019 as the global manager of diversity in the company's cloud computing division. It says she had big ambitions for her new job. After nearly 2 decades of experience leading diverse and inclusion efforts inside important institutions, she quit a year later. That's how bad it was there. That's how much in their own way they are. And what's crazy is that when you read this article, it cites some of the similar things, just stereotypes, prejudice, things of that nature. And it wasn't coming from Jeff Bezos. Like, he actually came there, spoke, introduced people, let people know what the program was about, and they said they were hardened by his speeches. It comes from the managers at the lower levels. So if I were to sum it up, I don't believe that they're not having a CEO issue with Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai or Jeff Bezos at Amazon. It's an issue with the people they've hired previously. These very intelligent but very narrow-minded and shut-in people who just don't know how to interact with people who don't look like them. That's just my personal opinion. Like, it always seems to be coming from the tactical level. If I were to break it down to military terms, these people at the lower end who are in management positions but just have no idea how to deal with diversity. They just never experienced it. Either the town they came from or the institution that they got their education in, people look just like them. So when they deal with other people, they're calling the cops because they're still in scooters, or they're not allowed to eat from the food truck, or they cited one case where the person just in his ineptness said that his ancestors owned slaves, but they were probably nice to them. Who says that? A calm person might say that, because
right.
We have no sense. And then you add fuel to the fire. You put this person in the management position, and if you don't give them diversity training, not to excuse their ineptness, or it just doesn't help the situation. Like, they should be better anyway, right? Just do better. But you need to train these people before you release them onto the masses. Like, these are not supposed to be your trainers. If he has an idea that his ancestry was kind to slaves, he probably shouldn't be allowed to be the teacher of Black people. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think it's like it's it's pretty obvious that there's a issue there. I think it's just like you said, though. It's kind of in all these situations, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, any other company, Tesla, and all these other places, it's all dependent on the people that they hire and the people that are working the job. And like you mentioned before, training is a very important thing that people are aware. It's the same respect you can train somebody as much as you want about being, welcoming to people with different backgrounds, but sometimes people have that certain mindset that they're from a certain place, part of the world, part of the country, that they feel, oh, these people are beneath me. I don't like really respect people that don't look like me. And as much as you train them and give them all these, you teach them how to properly manage people that don't look like them. They're still going to kind of be set in their ways a little bit. But it's hard to figure out. I'm sure it's hard to figure out sometimes how to identify those people who should be, managing people in general, or people of other races, as well as managing these programs like the one we talked about before with Google's program, trying to help Black college students get tech jobs. But it's such a tough thing. I mean, it's such a big conflict. I mean, this type of thing has been going on for a long time. Obviously, it's centuries old now, but it's like something that we just have to do better. We have to be able to try to identify people's judge people's characters and make sure that we're hiring the right people. These companies are hiring the right people, and make sure that they're putting the best foot forward to, like you said, train them, and to make sure that it's acknowledged if things happen that are suspicious, that are out of place, that people are, reprimanded for it, and they get fired, they get demoted, they get whatever, if they're like acting out of place, and they're doing things that are, they're being biased or disrespectful to people of other races. So I think, there's more to be done for that, for sure. And I'm sure, it goes far and wide between other companies as well. But with that, do you have some thoughts on it as well, Shannon?
So I do. So your point is valid, right? In that they need to know, they need to do better when it comes to dealing with people that are not of the same race, or same background or whatever. But think about it like this, right? How often do you expect them to see that 3.7%, right? Mm-hmm. So if they're walking around the campus right there, so they don't know what they don't know type thing. Their whole day, they might see one or two people of color, and they may not even have an interaction with them to know how they need to be talking with them. You know what I'm saying? They may see them across the courtyard or whatever when they're walking on the compound. I hate to call it a compound. I don't know which one. Campus.
That's right, the campus.
Walking across the campus, but they don't have any interpersonal dealings with them, so they don't know how to talk to them. Because even in the article, they mentioned that about how they'll have guests come in and teach some things or whatever. But like, I think they mentioned it was a professor from like MIT or something like that. And they went in there assuming they had a background knowledge that they did not have. Like, no, that's why we're here, is to get that knowledge. Don't assume I'm already at this level. And that was another thing they were talking about with the disorganization was make the prerequisites known, because that was not laid out very well for them either. So you go in there and then people expect you to have some type of, maybe let's just say programming knowledge, right? And you don't have that. No, I'm in school for that. You're supposed to be teaching me that, right? I don't know what my baseline needs to be, and you never told me what it needed to be. So I hear you, but I find it hard. I find it hard to do if, like you mentioned in the other article, Ryan, you had somebody with 2 decades of experience that quit in under a year. You know what I'm saying? So how often is that?
Right.
How often is that happening at Google even, right? They might have some I mean, I know they have an HR department, no doubt, right? But like when it comes to like diversity outreach and whatnot, they've been struggling with that for the last, I can tell you right now, for at least the last 3 months that we've been on the air, right? You know what I mean? April Curry and Dr. Gabriel, you know what I mean? Like
right.
they've been struggling with that already. So who knows how long it's been a problem that just doesn't really get the attention it deserves.
Yeah, this is gonna. I don't know what. I'm struggling with the civilian equivalent, but whatever a Tiger team would be, like you need to spend that money and put in the right people ASAP, because this is going to keep, like, the media now is in the daily cycle. It's just like, you know what? We need an article about Google. We need an article about the president. We need an article, like they have a template now, like. So it's just going to branch off now. Now it's spread to Amazon. Now we've gone from beating up Google to beating up Amazon. Like, it's going to keep spreading. Like, y'all need to get together, make a coalition of IT
right.
Companies, and like, hey, listen, we need to install a diversity panel or Tiger team or something, because they're about to eat our lunch. They are coming for us. Like 2020 would let you know we're not playing no more. 2021 is just going to be an even better sequel if you keep playing around. Like fix yourselves. That should be named the title of this episode. Fix yourself.
Right.
Or just do better. One of the two. But again, strides are being made. However, again, you got to check your lower management. They're just not doing a good job. So,
yeah.
But with that, if you could pronounce the name of this company, I'd be very happy. So,
yeah, I think it's just Bombardier. I mean, I've heard that phrase before. Okay. Yeah, Bombardier maybe. But nonetheless, so this next topic we're talking about from ZDNet, airplane maker Bombardier data posted on ransomware leak site following FTA hack. And this is by Catalin Campanu. So in this article, basically just describes just a situation that happened to this company, airplane maker, that essentially they're running this file share web server, and essentially got hacked. Apparently there was like a 0-day vulnerability on this software that they were using. I think it's called Acelion, and apparently it has some sort of 0-day vulnerability that some hackers were able to access or take advantage of, and access their data. And obviously this is it's kind of concerning that a lot of their private information, especially if they have like a bunch of diagrams and build guides and all this kind of stuff for all the parts and pieces that put together their planes, maybe a nation, another nation, China or Russia might want to use some of this data to help, design some of their planes, some of their capabilities. I know this kind of things happened in the past with other military installations, military like jets, things like that. Somehow they get leaked and able to use. All of a sudden you see like an identical plane built in another country that looks just like, the ones from Bombardier or, from other military organization. But yeah, essentially it's a pretty straight story. I mean, they got hacked. It was discovered that some of the data was on the dark web. It looks like the ransomware gang may have like asked for some sort of like for them to pay some money, but I don't know if they actually went through with any payments at the time. But they say that no personal data was shared, but they most likely lost some like private intellectual property, and actually being offered for free on the dark web. So that's kind of funny that just like everybody, just have at it, do whatever you want with it. You gotta wonder too. Some people, I don't know who this group is, but you just gotta wonder if they are, if they ever have like, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe like a concern about, this affecting like their own safety, or like, I don't know if they hack these like airplane companies' website, and then I don't know, they use this information to like people like get the specs of these airplanes, and they're able to like, these other people that purchase this data are able to use this data to like hack other airplanes or something to that effect, or start compromising other systems, and it might end up kind of coming back around and affecting them in a roundabout way. But that's pretty much the story. It's just another ransomware leak. Something that we obviously know a lot about, that we've seen quite a bit in the last several months here. But especially with COVID going on. But you guys have any thoughts on this?
So yeah, I think this one is just not to say negligible, because it's still something got stolen, but I think it's more IP driven. Like, you just don't want somebody to be making Bombardier, like you said, like Kirtland brand Bombardier jets
That's right.
out there. You don't want that to happen. But hey, you never know. Like, if there was some kind of flaw of vulnerability in the plane or in its suite of components, like maybe it could be something they could use to the plane or to the manufacturer's detriment. They just don't really reveal that in this article, which I mean, if it did exist, they probably wouldn't tell you anyway. But it is kind of interesting. So it's weird, right? So now the more I think about it, it's starting to feel less like espionage and like spy versus spy, and it's starting to feel more like stagecoach robbers, like back in the day. You know what I mean? Like it's so much of it. It's so unpoliced. It's so brash and in your face. Like every week, it seems to be like something bigger, better, just anything you could think of being stolen, and then just being put out there for the highest bidder or for free. Just be like, hey, we did this, and they didn't pay us, but now you can have it. Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy. Like they definitely, like something has to give. Like I don't know if it's like what you said with the zero trust model or what has to be done to try to starve this from taking place. Because it's getting to be so normal.
Yeah. I think ever since, especially with everybody working from home nowadays, and a lot of companies putting their information out on the web, making it accessible for everybody, it's become a hot item for sure.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? So I'm going to say this, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm okay with what happened, but I'm a little bit more forgiving of a 0 day than a company that just does not keep their appliances up to date. You know what I mean? Like a 0 day is something previously unknown, right? Like it was something that was found. Okay, and we talked about this before about how long do you keep doing your testing and whatnot before you put something out there for production to make money, right? So the company eventually reached that point and they were like, okay, if we find anything, we'll patch it after that. But it was a 0 day, right? So it's not like it was a patch that was available to them a year ago. They just didn't do, and they were being lazy about it. So like I said, I'm a little more forgiving of that. But again, I don't want to be like, oh, well, it's okay. You know what I mean? Because it's not okay.
Right.
Like, I mean, somebody could have been looking at something, to figure this out. But I mean, this is kind of one of those things where you get desensitized to it, right? It's like those video game makers back in the day when they were under attack by Congress and whatnot because kids were getting
violent video games.
Being desensitized to it. Like I feel like I'm getting there, right? It's just like another hack, huh? Okay, whatever. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know how to. It's weird to say. I don't know how to take this, but it's kind of. I guess what my new milestone should be for them is how quick they recover from it and how they handle it after the fact, right?
Right.
Because now it's just doing business now that you're going to get hacked, right? Idle hands is what you said, Ryan, right? Idle hands are the work of the devil, right? They're going out there, they're doing that stuff. Let's see what I can do here, and here's what happened. We got a 0 day. That was it was like 4 different things that they found, right? 4 different vulnerabilities, I think it was. Mm-hmm. I can't remember. I'd have to look back at the article again, but like. Yeah, I'm more forgiving, but at this point, it's like, okay, how fast did you recover from it? Did you fix it, right? Or did the company who's responsible for fixing it fix it, right? Because you're using somebody else's software, right? For the file sharing, but I don't know. That's kind of my view on it. Again, not condoning it, but
right. Yeah. That is an interesting way of looking at it, though. Like instead of protect, like obviously you need to protect yourself, but how quickly you recover. And what have you. I wonder if that can be built into some kind of agile process or some kind of like, could that be advertisement for a security company? Like we will, because breaches are inevitable, but we'll get you back on your feet in 24 hours.
Right.
Like, could that be an emphasis of your business? Like, could that be a feature? Like, we can't stop the hack, but we can get you back up and running.
It should be, right? Because that's money lost, right? Like the longer you stay down, the more money you lose, right? Casinos know how much they lose, if they're down for a day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so these companies shouldn't be any different, especially if you're a public traded company, right? Because your stock could just fall like it's going out of style. You know what I mean? So you definitely want to be able to know that, and you want to be able to relay confidence to your investors that kind of drive your worth, right? So.
Yeah, so I guess it'll just be more of an emphasis on your business continuity plan or your disaster recovery plan than your defense. So it's just a different perspective, like a different way of looking at it. Because it's looking like you can't do anything but get hacked nowadays. So it's pretty crazy. But I did see, like, when I was digging through articles, picking and choosing, I saw that like the NSA is also going towards Microsoft Zero Trust methodology. So it's coming to a head. Like, trust no one, air gap everything. Like, no one being authenticated can be trusted. So you must authenticate, re-verify. Like, it's happening. It's just very slow. Hey listeners, please remember that you can support this podcast directly by becoming members of the show's Patreon. Here you'll be able to listen to the podcast 7 days early, completely ad-free. However, in these trying times, we understand that you may not be able to become a Patreon just yet. In that case, please listen to the show once it's available on free feeds, leave us constructive feedback, and share with your blurred friends and family. Thank you. But speaking of breaches, so Clubhouse chats are breached, raising concern over security. So there was already some concern about Clubhouse. I don't know if you guys know what Clubhouse is, but I can elaborate because I'm on Clubhouse now and I like it. So it's a new social media platform, came out last year. Basically, it allows people to host conferences, so to speak. Like, the host takes the stage, they can present whatever they want to present in front of the people. People come in, they can either listen or they can be given spotlight to come on stage. And what's so cool about it is because it's so new and so non-monetized, you'll see extremely, not to say important people, but you'll see people who are CEOs and owners of businesses intermingling with regular people, which you don't see on a regular basis. So it's pretty cool. Like one of my mentors, he was on there, Jeff Lodick, and he was talking. He also had a former, I believe he was either a sports newscaster or a former MLB player, and they were talking about the benefits of sports with kids. And then they actually had like a therapist and like a sports medicine person. Then they had a couple like Division One, ex soccer players. So like just talking, just mingling amongst each other, just having a regular conversation. And you just don't see that. The platform when it launched was, I think, valued at 100 million. And then I want to say Facebook or Google wanted to purchase them for $1 billion. They turned that down as well. And it just continued to grow. The platform just continues to get better. It's pretty elitist. You have to be invited. You can't just show up. And for the time being, you have to have an iOS device to access it. They're not on Android yet, but it's going to happen soon. So it's a pretty cool platform. I definitely want to do some stuff. The other side of the firewall related. I'm just kind of scared to put myself out there. You know what I mean? Like I gotta see a bunch of different presentations, kind of figure out how it works. In spite of it, people just saying, just do it, just go, start talking. People will show up. But apparently, a lot of because I'm rambling now, a lot of the back end is out of China. So there was already concerns, and now with the breach, because they initially said that these sessions could not be recorded, because the whole premise of the platform is that it's live. It's like if you watch our podcast, if you look at our video, if you listen to a podcast, if you watch our videos, that's like buying the album. But if you come to Clubhouse, that's like coming to the concert. So the whole thing is, it's not supposed to be recorded. It's just supposed to be just free flowing, just happens, and then you gather what you can from it. But they found recordings were out there. They shut off the account. They said that they patched the vulnerability to make sure it didn't happen again, but people are a little concerned. So I said a lot there.
Go ahead, Lamont.
So, I don't know if I have much thoughts on this. I mean, obviously, it sounds like a good platform for people to get their voices heard. Obviously, they had some sort of security breach. I don't know. I don't think they really detail exactly what happened in their breach. But obviously, it's something that they're going to have to like identify and make sure that they are resolved. I mean, especially if the back end's in China, I'm sure that's going to be a big concern for a lot of U.S. companies or like people that maybe, obviously have concern about things running in another country that they may be using it for some malicious content or malicious reasoning. And I'm not sure what, if it's just like a social like box where people just talk to a group of people. I'm not sure what kind of content they'd be so concerned about with other people having, if they're going to have like, just if you put things on the internet, it's pretty much once it's on the internet, everybody has access to it. So, you never know if, China has it, if Iran has it, if, people in London have it, whatever, wherever you're concerned about people viewing the content, as long as you're not putting like your social security number and your address on the platform. I think I read here something to the fact they don't even store like private information or users information on the back end of their infrastructure. But yeah, I guess, for sure, depending on what kind of audience you're having, especially if you have, I don't know, you have like a military like clubhouse meeting and you want to have some speakers on there, and then we're talking about some, I don't know, secret jet like strategic like mission, communications or whatever. Then you
I should hope they're not putting that out over Clubhouse.
Yeah, right.
There's bigger concerns if that is happening. Like if people are talking confidential stuff or classified stuff, come on now. Like it's
right.
Different things need to happen. Some clearances need to be pulled and some questions need to be asked at that point. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I'm right there with you. No, you're right. That's what I'm throwing that out there. Like that's the only reason I'd really be concerned if somebody's like trying to do some top secret mission type stuff on Clubhouse for some reason. But as long as it's not putting like, I've never used this platform, I really don't know all about it. But as long as people aren't putting all their information on there, and it looks like I mentioned, that they store or share personally identifiable information for any of its clients. So, and they said that we're committed to making our product as secure as we can, the company said. So, yeah, it looks like they're trying to. They have some cybersecurity experts that are monitoring the systems and make sure things are legit. Maybe as this platform becomes more popular, I'll see more information about it. And like you mentioned, I know you said like Jeff had been on here, and he's one of the big dogs. So I know he's if he's using it, I'm sure a lot of other people are as well. But I think it's my initial thoughts on it. I don't think there's much more I can say about it, but hopefully they take care of their security issues and people can use it as a means to their little soapbox where they can get on there and talk to a bunch of people. But do you have any thoughts on it as well, Shannon?
So here's my thoughts on this. So we've talked about this before, and I've said this before, right? When it comes to something that I say, like when it comes to this podcast or whatever, there's not anything I say on here I wouldn't want the world to hear, right? Like
right.
I hope everybody becomes a Patreon. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Everybody in the world, all 7 billion of them, kids included. But the thing is, right? The only way I see this being something that's really upsetting people is if you're getting in Clubhouse and you're saying some stuff that you should not be saying, or some stuff you wouldn't say publicly, right? So you got some type of clan Clubhouse or something like that to set up out there, right? No, I'm being serious. I know.
Right.
But like if you're saying something that you don't want people out there to know that you're saying it, right? You lose your job or whatever, right? Or the impression you're not who people thought you were, or if you're trying to monetize it, right? Like I don't have an iOS device or anything like this, Ryan. I know you had joined up like a week before this came out, right?
Yeah.
So like if you're monetizing it somehow, so like if you had a Clubhouse, right, that you were like, hey, we talk about Buffalo Bills in this Clubhouse, right? And you could be a member for $2 a month, pay every month. I'll send you the password so you can get in. Password changes every month, whatever it may be. So that'd be the only way I could see people really upset about this, right? And
right.
If you're saying something you're not supposed to say, or if you're losing money because of it.
Right.
Other than that, it's kind of like, is there a big issue there, right? I mean,
so I don't see it. Yeah, like you said, I don't see it yet because there's nothing monetized yet anyway. Like I think that's what they're going to try to gear towards in the future potentially. Because I mean, that's everything is going to go monetized. Like that's just people don't do stuff for free. It's just that's not the way the world works, right? But as of right now, yeah, as long as you not say anything crazy, then I don't think you have any issues. Like I think it's just because I think like literally a week before this happened, they said how secure they were because there was some concerns, and security wasn't the biggest concern. The biggest concern was that because it was in China, the backend was in China, like some stuff was censored, some stuff to do with Jinping and some stuff to do with Taiwan had been pulled down. And there was concerns like, okay, this place is censored because of where it's located at. But yeah, like you said, I can't think of any way.
But how is that different? So here's my question then, right? So how is that different from the battles we're having here in America when it comes to Twitter and Facebook and all that, right? Like those discussions are being had here for the same reason. You know what I mean? That's why you have
Right.
your parlors and your 4chans and all that, because they're not censored supposedly, right? So, I mean, the China thing does kind of worry me. Let me not let me not let that slide, right? Like I get it, right? But I don't have TikTok either, right? TikTok's a Chinese company, right? If I remember correctly, because I remember the DoD put a notice out there that was like, hey, we're not telling you not to have an account, but we just want to make you aware of the risks. So, I mean, I don't know. If it's being censored, I mean, more than likely you're probably saying something you shouldn't be saying anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Potentially. I don't know what was said. I know certain things are contentious. Even in video game circles, some things are contentious. Like Riot Games is owned or in part by Tencent. Tencent owns like damn near the world now, with movie companies and video game companies and all that stuff. So there has been some implications, like people's posts being pulled down, things of that nature. Trailers being fixed because they look anti China. So
Mm-hmm.
they do have influence. Like what was it? Transformers? Which one was it? Was it like the Dark Knight? I don't know. Whichever. Like these movies are trash nowadays. But one of the most recent Transformers had a big scene in China. It was just like with characters like you've never seen before, and they had lots of product placement. People were like, I just don't get it, but they blew stuff up, so that's cool. But it was because of the Chinese influence. Like if you wanted it to be in their theaters, you had to put in certain people who were known actors in China and product placement. So they're slowly starting to take over.
Yeah. And I was going to mention this as well, as you guys were kind of briefly touched on it. Maybe the other concern that's not really like focused on in the article or in our discussion is the fact that even if there's having like an app itself on your phone from like another country, or even like the TikTok or like this one, the Clubhouse, if you have the application on your phone that's managed from a Chinese company, perhaps they can use the application to get data from your phone or monitor your access from your phone. If maybe tie into your microphone and things like that, so record an audio, what have you, without your authorization. So just maybe small things like that.
Undoubtedly have to give them access to, right?
Yeah. If you want to be able to record, you're going to give that. It's going to pop up, say, hey, you want to give this app access to your microphone, to your internal storage data, whatever. So that's probably another little aspect of it. We have to kind of think about as well, as far as the cybersecurity realm of it. Besides just being a platform to talk to people or like get your voice out there, is also the fact that you're installing this application from another country that could be used potentially, if they decide to, or somehow they try to sneakily, get your data. And it kind of came. I know we talked about this before with the was it TCL TVs or whatever. We talked about that for a little bit, that they were getting some data or something to that effect from TVs. Along with that, on a separate note, I just read too at the very bottom of the article, it talked about, like you were mentioning, that they had some, I guess they found that there's some discussions in the Clubhouse from people in China that have disagreements with the Chinese government, with taboo topics from like Taiwan to Xinjiang. So I know that's a big thing in China. They have like the Great Firewall that kind of restricts some of the internet access. And so they look like they were trying to restrict access to this application because of people using it as a soapbox to talk about topics in China that they don't agree with. And the Chinese government's not really too happy with that kind of thing. They try to restrict and kind of quiet the storm of any revolution or some animosity towards the government there. So I think that's kind of an interesting topic as too. I've been with my wife. She's actually in a course learning some Chinese, and so we've been talking about some of the Chinese topics similar to this that popped up recently. And I know that could be a whole like a whole discussion in itself. Just the whole economy of China right now, how they're running their managing their people and their government, and how they control certain aspects of their people. But I just figured I'd throw that out there. I think that's kind of interesting.
No, definitely. Yeah, you have to be careful what you install.
Yeah.
Good thing our phones are made in America. But they're not.
That's right. Yeah. Right.
The phone is made in China. The apps are made in China.
All the chips in your computer, probably. Yeah. Your clothes probably made in China.
I wouldn't doubt it. So, yeah, that's the thing. But you know what I mean? Like once we start making in America again, we won't have that problem.
Right. I think the thing is it's too expensive. Nobody wants to make it in America. They're like, oh, I gotta save money, cut costs. I'm gonna, make it overseas and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, man.
So
it'll be a $20,000 iPhone, but it'll be made in America.
That's right.
That's what's important.
We're expensive. You want me to make some iPhones? Okay, you need to pay me like $200,000 a year to make some iPhones.
No doubt. So I think that's a good way to wind into what we've been either playing or doing, or the category gets broader and broader each week.
That's right.
So what about you, Shannon? What media have you been consuming this week?
You know what? Not really much of anything. I finally turned on a video game on the big TV downstairs. Looked great, but I only did it because my youngest daughter said she wanted to see Spider-Man. So I was like, okay, So she left the room. I was like, all right, well, I've already beat this game, so I'll turn it off. No, actually, I've been. So I got Hulu Live a couple weeks ago, and I've just been watching more stuff on live TV. I'm watching more basketball games that I haven't been watching in a couple years because I haven't had cable. So, like when it comes to video games and whatnot, I haven't really been doing it. This past gen console that I got, I think I'm getting a little snooty with it. I'm like,
so old.
Yeah. How come there's no K behind the resolution of what I'm watching here?
Right.
1080 progressive.
Right.
1080.
1080.
Yeah, I haven't really been playing any video games. A couple TV shows here and there, you know what I mean, like onesie twosies or whatever. But for the most part, live stuff or just doing stuff around the house, man.
All right. What about you, LaVon?
Yeah. So I've been continuing to watch a little bit of Warrior. I have to finish it up. I have like a few episodes left in the most recent season that's out. Got to finish that up. And what else? I've been focused a lot on Destiny 2. It's like it had like a little expansion, expansion on like a new season that came out, some new content. So I've been trying to level up my characters in that game. But I know we talked about it earlier. I want to check out. I have some things queued up on the HBO Max. The Judas and the Black Messiah. I think that was a new movie that came out. I wanted to check that one out. I heard some good reviews on that one. And what else is hot? Looking forward to some movies that are coming out down the pipe. HBO Max has got a lot of movies that they're pushing out with the Godzilla versus King Kong and all this kind of stuff coming down the pipe, and then we got Snyder Cut, Justice League. I'm about to cop those real quick. And then what else? Besides that, I've been chilling out. Not many other shows that I've been watching lately. I'm trying to think of anything else that's hot. I have to look at my queue to see what's up and coming for me to watch. But that's been the main thing. Watching Warrior. I've been enjoying Warrior quite a bit. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it yet, Ryan. I know we mentioned it before, but I think it's something that you might enjoy. It's pretty legit. It's got a lot of cool like kung fu scenes in there, and it's got a good story, a good cast of characters. They're very, very believable in the roles that they play. and this is like, it's really like kind of badass. It's very like gangster, like Chinese kung fu. Like it's pretty legit. But yeah. How about you, Ryan? You have anything lined up in your queues?
Yeah, a few things, but I definitely do want to watch Warrior. Like I want to watch all the like. So I have HBO Max, but I'm not able to enjoy it over here. At least not with a free VPN, right? I'm being cheap. Like if I paid for VPN, I'd probably be able to puncture the Turkish firewall over here, stopping all the goodness of HBO.
Yeah.
But they said June they go worldwide, so I can hold out. I'll just wait. In June, I'll be able to catch up on all that stuff. Like I have like a smorgasbord of content: The Warrior, the Snyder Cut, Wonder Woman '84. Even though I heard it wasn't great, I still got to watch it. And then
I thought it was okay. It wasn't like the greatest, but
right. And then Dune. I don't know if Dune will be out by then, but I definitely want to check out the new Dune. Like HBO has definitely got Mortal Kombat. Like they got a bunch of movies I want to see, so I can't wait to take advantage of that.
Do you think you can be able to hold out, Ryan, till June?
I really got no choice.
I'm just saying, man. Like every week when we have this segment, we're gonna be like, "Oh man, that Snyder Cut was off the chain."
Snyder. Oh damn!
Oh man, you're gonna be like, "All right, I need to do something with this VPN," and you make something.
I really got no means except for spending money, which I don't want to do. So we'll see. Like the Snyder Cut's gonna be the hardest one because I kind of don't want to get. Like if it's terrible, I still want to experience it because it's been hyped for so long. I don't want to get spoiled. Like WandaVision has already been spoiled for me. Like people can't keep their mouths shut. So it is what it is. But things I can watch, Netflix. I've been watching Amend: The Fight for America. So it's a 6-part docuseries. I'm on part 3. So I'm up to Jim Crow is where I'm at with it. It's really good. There's some like I said, they have like Samuel Jackson, Will Smith. Oh man, what's he plays the agent on
Fresh Off the Boat.
WandaVision? Yeah, Fresh Off the Boat. Yep, he plays on that too. He's on there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they got a bunch of different people, like just known actors playing, not necessarily playing the roles, but like they're narrating the speeches that were given. Like Abraham Lincoln said some stuff. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like I didn't know his thought process prior to the Emancipation Proclamation. I was like, oh, okay. Like it's eye-opening. Like what plan A was before they got to plan B. So it's good stuff.
Randall Park is the guy's name.
Randall Park, yeah. So he does he narrates a few different things. So does oh man, what's his name? Marshala Ali, or did I say it right? Marshala?
I can never get it right either.
Mahershala. I think it's Mahershala Ali. I don't know. New Blade. He does some narration as well. It's really good. It's good stuff. So if people are listening, they're kind of interested, definitely check it out. It definitely it's eye-opening on the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments and what they mean to the culture and all the roadblocks that happen. So it's pretty cool stuff. No games. I didn't play any games all week. I was just too burnt, but I'm definitely gonna jump back into Control. And then I saw Final Fantasy VII is getting some DLC, so I gotta jump back onto the remake.
I think it's gonna be until like June or something. I think that's coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I gotta platinum this one though.
Oh, you got it. Okay, I got you. Yeah. You gotta.
I gotta get all the trophies.
Get all the trophies. I gotta platinum it. I like that. Yeah, I still gotta come back to that game. I started it, but it's one of the games that, you guys may joke with me, but me and my wife play it together. So we're like, I wait for her to like when she's free to play, but she's been so busy with other stuff. We haven't been playing it together. I don't want to like get ahead and like she'll miss all the content. And just kind of like, some people share like Netflix, like watch a show together and like don't watch it before I get to, where I get a chance to watch the episode with you. So it's kind of like one of those numbers. So I'm waiting for us to have some time to watch that, play that game together, as well as Breath of the Wild. Still got to finish that one up. We're almost finished with it, but it's another game that's in the list right now. Gotta knock out. But yeah, I heard about that Final Fantasy VII remake. It sounds like it's gonna be pretty cool. They can actually do they're actually gonna revamp it too for the PS5 as well.
Have some. I don't want to talk about that though. No,
yeah, let's talk about more about PS5. Yeah.
Those don't exist. Those don't exist. So people keep saying, because they keep saying like the games are coming out during the summer. They keep calling it a launch window, and people are saying it's not a launch window, but it is. If you can't get a hold of the console, whenever I get it, and it's the launch of the console. So that's hopefully by summer, but if not, then fall is fine.
Yeah. And I said it before, but it's not gonna make things any better. But right now, it's like not like a huge, I don't know. There's not a huge reason to get like a PS5 per se to say that you're gonna play all these PS5 exclusive games that are gonna be like so much and so much more enhanced. I think the best thing right now, maybe we get the faster load times and maybe high resolution or something like that in some games. But besides that, it's not gonna be like, I don't know, night and day. But I know you mentioned you have PS4 that's like on its last leg a little bit. It's got like no network connectivity.
Yeah, the one back at home, my son's struggling with it because the antenna is pretty much dead or dying. So
yeah,
I definitely want to hook him up. Now, he's a good kid, keeps his grades up.
That's good.
So I definitely want to hook him up. Then he can break it in by the time I get home, because me buying two is probably not going to happen. So
yeah.
He'll break it in and I'll come home and play on it.
A quick not side note, but along the same lines about the PS5 stock shortage. I did hear about the current administration, Biden administration. They're doing some sort of policy. They're trying to, or some sort of initiative to dive into why there's a chip shortage. They're trying to make sure that these chip manufacturers and that the U.S. is able to acquire these electronic components to build devices. We got like there's a PS5 shortage, Xbox shortage, graphic card shortage, things like that. And they think a lot of it's tied to the shortage of those processing chips and things like that they need to the components that build these different devices.
Yeah. So I don't understand. So I've read a little bit of the article, but I didn't really dig deep into it. Like, so are they trying to say that it's being throttled by manufacturers, or are they trying to say like maybe we should start building in America to offset the shortage?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. I have to dig into it as well. I just saw like a kind of maybe more like headline news. I kind of brushed over the article here and there, but it's something like something to the effect that I think it's more so like, I think a lot of it's like COVID related, as well as I think most of it's like COVID related. Just that fact that a lot of these manufacturers aren't in production like they used to be, or they're kind of throttled by the situations. But at the same time, who knows? It could be something to the effect that they are trying to like make things more U.S. made and things like that, which has always been like a big thing. But it's also the balance of I don't know. Profitability. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm trying to think of. Yeah, something to the effect that they want to make it as cheap as possible, but they'd love to make it in America if they could. But it's like, what's your focus? You want to get your business as much profit as possible, or do you want to make everything in America, and support your fellow man and woman, as much as you can. So, and I digress. I don't want to, spin into some big political talk or anything like that, but that's pretty much what I've heard. So we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, I gotta definitely have to dig into it, because I kind of try to figure out what they're trying to get from the data call or the investigation. It's definitely different. But I think that's pretty much all I consumed. I need to read a book. Brain's getting tired. Like, not being used too frequently. I'm supposed to start
too much atrophy, right? Too much atrophy.
Yeah. I can't even form words. I'm supposed to be studying for the GIAC forensic analyst, but I'm gonna have to do it without my books. So I'm brain is atrophying. when I filled out my account, I used my home address back in the States because I was like, well, when I pass, so speaking to existence, so when I pass this course, I don't want the certificate to come here and get lost. I wanted to go home. I didn't know there's real books. I thought everything was virtual. So they shipped the books to Tampa.
Oh, dang. Oh, no.
So I could start it without the books, but as soon as I started, the countdown starts. You get 4 months. That's what you pay for. 4 months of access, all self-paced. So I'm like, do I wait for the books to get to me, or do I just start and wait for the books to catch up to me? I should probably just start, but I used it as an excuse.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. I just want to make sure. You poo-pooed me earlier when I said I didn't.
I did.
You poo-pooed me.
Hey, listen.
I had to do the Game of Thrones shame walk, and here you are.
Shame.
Yeah, I need to jump on it though. So maybe Monday. I'll start it up.
I mean, here's the thing. Even if you're not going to get everything you can from the books, right? The books are probably going to be the ultimate resource. Like with you doing a little bit of something, it's not like if the books do come and all of a sudden you've lost that much time or whatever, right? Because the ship from Tampa out there to where you are, man, I don't imagine that's going to be a quick ship. You know what I mean?
No, it's at least a month.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Is it that long? I would have said a couple weeks. A month?
Because it goes through 3 different
like customs.
What's it called? Yeah, three different customs. So that's a slowdown. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah, you definitely. Hey, you might want to hit up YouTube or something.
Yeah, but I don't think I need them. I think I just need them for the test. Like the test is open book. So when I go to the testing center, I can have the books on me. So I'm going to need it for that. But I think I can just start the course and all the material will already be virtually available to me.
Which course was this again?
The GIAC Certification Forensics Analyst.
Ah, nice. Look at you.
I'm trying to fill in some gaps. Like I'm like, hey, I do have, my degree. I got my experience. I got the CISP, but what about practical experience with forensics? Like CH is good. I definitely need to knock out my CHFI, but what I was told was this course actually puts the tools in your hand and gives you applicable skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I just want to round out my resume.
Absolutely.
So I'll let you know. Like I heard it's pretty tough. So it's like a 4-hour test. Open book. So whenever you tell me an open book test is 4 hours long.
Right.
That's probably a hard ass test.
Yeah,
so,
it's a long time.
Yeah.
It's a long ass test. But you can do it, man. Just like just get on the grind, get your studying on. Hopefully you can get your books at, somewhat soon.
Yeah.
You can start reading up on it. Like Shannon was saying, get some YouTube time. Find some YouTube actually has a lot of great content. You can find a lot of stuff on the web in general, just for like video content, people just discussing different topics that they're smart on.
Cybrary.
Yeah.
Does Cybrary have anything on it?
Yeah, they do. There's a ton of info. Yeah. So speaking of content on the internet, if you want some easy eight tips and again your CISSP, I got a video out there. So definitely hit us up on YouTube, or I even made an audio and put it on the podcast. So it's got its own episode. So if you want to know my tips to getting the CISP, go ahead and listen or watch.
Mm-hmm.
So you like that little plug in there, but
I like that.
Also with plugs. So it won't be in this episode. I think I'll break it off. But we also did an interview with Chelsea Pierre she's the CEO of Blurred's Leading Technology, and it was a really good interview. So that'll be coming out soon. So that more content, got it in video and in audio. So stay tuned, and that'll also be out there for the patrons of our Patreon 7 days early, completely ad free, and then it'll hit the free feed 7 days later. So content is coming. With that being said, you guys have anything else?
Nothing from
before
me.
I start closing. So again, shout out to our Patreon, Anthony Cater. for his support. Thank you to all those who are listening on the free feeds, all those tuning in on YouTube. The LinkedIn is actually pulling in people. I'm starting to get lots of thumbs up and questions and what have you. So definitely thank you to the people on LinkedIn. You can reach us. Or I'm sorry. Oops. So thank you to my co-hosts. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Levon. Appreciate y'all.
Oh yeah, we're here too.
In the background,
Grace's host. Without y'all, all this good content could not be here. So I definitely thank you, and as always for checking in on me during the week and giving me some good content to talk about, because I was struggling this week especially because stuff doesn't want to happen until Saturday. Okay, you got all them other good days of the week. Like get your ransomware fraudulent schemes out there early. You know what I mean? So we can capture it and we can talk about it. But
disclaimer: we do not support.
What is it? Fraudsters? Is that the term I used to say? We do not support fraudsters.
We do not support fraudsters.
If you're gonna do it Monday through Friday, please. But definitely check us out on the web at www.theothersideofthefirewall. Hit us up on our Patreon, The Other Side of the Firewall. We are on Twitter at @on_firewall. So it's at @on_firewall. Facebook, same name for the Facebook page in the group, The Other Side of the Firewall. Instagram, The Other Side of the FW. And then on Twitter, you can hit me up at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. And Levon?
Hit me up on @Levon Maynard. Regular ass Levon Maynard.
He's after the Michael Jai Mike Tyson fight, he's gonna throw his hat in the ring.
That's right.
He's fighting the winner.
I fight them both at the same time. That's what it is.
Yeah. So keep up with that guy.
If you fighting them both at the same time, then I think we need to find another co-host. He ain't gonna be around too much longer.
That's right.
If you fight them both at the same time, I have confidence in you, Levon, but I don't know.
Right. I don't know about that one either. I don't think I have the confidence in myself. I want to get paid though.
For sure. You want the money. For sure. Look, you get paid enough. You get one of them nice wheelchairs.
That's right.
That's mechanical. You can steal it with like you can blow into the tube, or you can just move your hand.
Move it. Yeah, I don't have to use my hands. Right. Yeah. I might have to look into this a little bit to see how I can contact my managers to get in contact with the Tysons and the Michael Jai White. Right. Make sure we get this fight set up.
Definitely. I'd pay to watch that. I'm just saying. But thank you to everybody involved, and thank you to everybody who's listening or watching. We appreciate y'all. So have a good one.
Y'all be easy.
Hey listeners, please remember that you can support this podcast directly by becoming members of the show's Patreon. Here you will be able to listen to the podcast 7 days early, completely ad-free. However, in these trying times, we understand that you may not be able to become a Patreon just yet. In that case, please listen to the show once it's available on free feeds, leave us constructive feedback, and share with your blurred friends and family. Thank you.